subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
It's Saturday morning. Man is back together. I'm the real sports guy, Steve Taylor. He is the Sandman. No, I'm not rocking in the Keeping It Real Sports studios. I'm at home, my comforts of home. Andy, what's going on, my brother?
Steve Taylor, it's good to be back this week. I hope the fans notice we got a new color scheme. All right, we talked about it all week long. We don't want to be like ESPN. We want to be Keeping It Real Sports TV. So we're going to blue, folks. It's now blue and black. That's the way it's going to be, and we hope you like it. So thanks again for watching, and it's good to be back, my friend. I missed you guys last week.
Oh, man, I tell you, we had a blast, but I tell you now, the band is back in town, man. The boys are back, man. We got a full stack show, man. We're going to talk NHL. We're going to talk NBA. We're going to talk Major League Baseball. We're going to talk NFL. And we're going to talk golf. We are loaded. Andy, let's get into what we call the quick hitters.
Let's do it.
Quick hitters.
All right, Steve Taylor, this is one of my favorite weeks of the year, right? It's the British Open, but this year is very, very special. Here's why. It's the 150th edition of the British Open, or the Open, as they call it over there in Europe. And Tiger and Phil missed the cut. It was hard to watch, Steve. I watched Tiger both days, both of his rounds. He's just not healthy right now. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
it's
really
that sad.
It's that, and it's karma. Sometimes you just got to shut the hell up, Tiger.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But Rory in contention again. He tees off actually in about 45 minutes. And how about this, Steve? A record 290,000 fans expected over the course of the tournament. That would shatter any previous mark. I'll tell you what. This is on my bucket list to go here. There's something special about St. Andrews, and the course is allowing the players to go low. I think we could see a winner at 20 under by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, that would be nice. You know, the thing about this here particular course is this here Open won't be on this particular course until 2030. That's what makes it so special because we don't get to see this all the time.
No, we don't. And that's what makes it so special. You know, it is the home of golf. This is where the game was born. There's just something so unique about links golf. If you've never watched it, I highly recommend you tune in this weekend. Speaking of winning, how about this? Last weekend, we had Mr. Djokovic pull off a comeback again in his career after losing the first set. Come on, you and I knew this was going to happen. Yeah. He wins his fourth straight Wimbledon, 7th overall, but Steve, not likely to be able to play in the U.S. Open unless the U.S. changes their policy on unvaccinated people coming in from out of the country.
Yeah, especially New York, and let's just stop there. It's New York. Remember, this is the same state that wouldn't let Kyrie Irving play home games until late in the season, okay? Mm-hmm. So, Novak is starting to get a lot of the backing of the players, but let's just rewind last week's Wimbledon, where you watch him totally make Nick Kyrgios just crumble under the pressure. And savvy, I tried to tell the savvy one, when the fit hits the sham, the only guy that can look down this guy's face and really bring the kind of pressure that will force the kind of mistakes needed to beat him is Rafael Nadal. Yep. Other than that, there's no one out there, okay? Because last time I checked, Roger Federer wasn't playing. And remember, I'm the guy that said 28-1 on center court on grass.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, that was played on grass.
Steve, I know Nadal has more majors than him, but to me, he's the greatest ever. And there's so many reasons why, but the stat that stood out to me the most was he is the only player in the history of the game to win more than 80 matches in all four. major tournament. You can't argue that one.
You can't, but it's when you play Novak, it's where you play him. If you play on your best surface or not. Roger Federer can play on grass. That's where I like to see him and Novak play in the finals. That was then. I don't know about now.
I was gonna say what happened the last time they played in the finals. Yeah, that was the start of his 4 in a row. Yeah. Okay, but the one thing I want to talk about real quick before we get off Wimbledon is this bullshit. Okay, this is the most disrespectful thing you could possibly do in that stadium. Okay, and this guy doesn't have a problem with it. Steve, do you know that he has been fined over $544,000 American dollars in the course of his career because of shit like this? He wears a red hat in a place where you can only wear white. They made a female tennis player change her bra on the court because it wasn't white, okay? And he takes the trophy out of the Duchess's hand with a red hat on. This pushed it too far. I'm sick of this guy. People say he's good for the game. I don't. I think he's trash. I think he needs to go. And until he can and stop yelling at his box and actually play tennis enough to beat somebody, get the hell off the court.
Wimbledon needs to lighten the hell up, man. Tradition, I understand. But, they changed tradition. It used to be a tradition where only Big 10 and Big Pac-12 teams played in the Rose Bowl. That's not the case anymore. Does that make that game any less desirable to watch? No. Wimbledon, get the stick out of your ass, man. Grow up, man. Grow up.
Listen, yes, traditions can change. This will never change. I promise you, until the day I'm laid to the ground, Wimbledon will never not wear white. You heard it from me first, okay? But we talked about Russian players not being allowed to play at Wimbledon. This is a Russian player that's in a lot of trouble right now, Steve. The Minnesota Wild's best player is wanted by the Russian military for evading serving in the Russian military by having fake IDs created, and he's been denied twice to get back into the U.S. and play in the NHL. It's not looking good for him, and if he can't play, Minnesota is back to the bottom of the list as far as the NHL is concerned. This guy single-handedly transforms their offense. This is a big deal, Steve.
Yeah. My only comment is free Brittany Griner.
Okay. Well, we don't have enough time for that.
Yeah.
And all right, let's keep the quick hitters going here. Charlie Montoya fired by the Toronto Blue Jays earlier this week. Steve, right now they would be tied for the second wild card position. Are you a little shocked by this move?
Man, yeah, I don't understand. But it's Canada, so I guess I ain't meant to understand. I mean, come the hell on. You got one of the most up and coming players, man, in Vlad Guerrero Jr. on the squad, man. I mean, you have pitching in place. What the hell are you thinking, Toronto? It ain't like you done fell off the face of the earth. It ain't like let me think of a team. The Cincinnati Reds. I mean, come on.
It's funny. I had Toronto, preseason. I thought about putting them in the World Series because of their roster. And I think that's one of the reasons you see this move, because that's their expectation as well. Mark Shapiro's the GM up there. He got Cleveland to where they were, heading into the World Series about 6 years ago.
You know what they call a bee that can't make honey anymore? Used to be. He used to be the Cleveland manager. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Major League Baseball, the Seattle Mariners, Steve, have won 12 in a row after last night. They are the hottest team in baseball going into the All-Star break. But even though they've won 12 in a row, this is how good the Houston Astros are. They're still 9 games behind first place.
That's where I'm getting ready to go. See, man, the rich keeps getting richer. The Houston Astros of the world, the Yankees of the world. I mean, the Yankees, for crying out loud, the Red Sox went 20-6 in the month of June and lost ground on the Yankees. That's how damn good the Yankees are.
Right.
Okay? So you got the Yankees, you got the Dodgers, and by the way, did you see what their ace did last night?
Yeah, he almost had a perfect game.
Damn right he did. He had a perfect game going through 7. I mean, the rich keep getting richer, man. It kind of is what it is.
Yeah, no, I hear you for sure. All right, you talked about Tiger earlier. Let's go back to that because he had something to say this week that I thought was pretty profound. and find it here. There we go. So this was his press conference, and this is what he said at the press conference. Quote, turn their back on the PGA for the players that went to the LIV. And Steve, I know where you're going with this, okay? Mm-hmm. But Tiger has a point, okay? If you are guaranteed money, all right, why do you need to practice? What's the competition? Okay, so you might win a trophy, big deal. You're still getting a paycheck. But the sport of golf is unlike any other in the fact that you are battling yourself, right? Maybe tennis, you could say that as well. But tennis has doubles. Golf doesn't have doubles, okay? You know, I agree with Tiger here. And you know why I agree with Tiger? This is why, okay? This is what I grew up with. I grew up with tradition. I grew up with class. I grew up with elegance. That's what the game of golf is all about, okay? And people that, like you, who want to say, let them go and take their money, that's fine. I don't have a problem with them taking their money. But they're disrespecting the game of golf because they're downplaying what the game of golf means to people like Tiger Woods, like Rory McIlroy, like myself, who play the game every week, okay? There's something different about the game of golf to where money shouldn't matter as much. And that's where Tiger's coming from. And people that don't play the game of golf don't understand why Tiger said what he said.
See, it's easy for Tiger Woods to say that because he's already made $125 million on the course. See, what does the P in PGA stand for?
Professional.
Okay, that's what you play golf for a profession. See, you got guys, let me go on this. LeBron James got a guaranteed contract. Does that mean he don't go out and practice hard? Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's got a guaranteed contract. Does that mean he don't go out? What about Patrick Mahomes? That's bullshit what Tiger Woods is saying.
But he's saying the motivation, what's the motivation if you're already getting the money? Those guys have to still earn it.
Look, what's the motivation for LeBron James? He's already earned his money. What's the LeBron James? What is the motivation for him? That's a weak
he has a passion for the game.
I understand that. These guys, man, just because this guy got look, if you'd have been on the LIV tour, you'd have got a damn check this weekend. You ain't gonna get a check this weekend because you didn't make the cut. See, don't get mad at them. See, you can go home and that's okay. But see, don't get mad at me because I chose to play the game of golf, something that God gave me the talent to do and put me in a position to do to make the most money I can for my family. Don't get mad at me because I chose a guarantee. He can't get mad at him. I just can't understand how somebody else want to count somebody else's money. Don't say that. It might not be good for you, and say that, Tiger. It's not good for me. No, that's cool, Steve, but don't speak for them. And even Rory, the Tiger Woods of the European tour. You done made your money too, so we don't want to hear from you either.
He's talking about the fact that them going to play for money as their motivating factor is bad for the sport.
Who says it's their motivating factor? They're playing the game that they love, and they're getting paid for it. A guarantee. I don't see the problem.
It's all about them. It's not about the fans. That's the problem. Okay?
That's his take. And that's okay. That's his take. But look here. It's gonna be fans there watching that LIV tour. It's gonna be fans.
I don't think there will be.
We shall see.
You know why?
Things are changing.
I took a peek at LIV because it's only on YouTube. It's the most boring golf I've ever watched because the fans win.
Well, that's because you've got a bone to pick with them. You got an axe to grind. I get it.
Here's the axe to grind. Did you watch Tiger Woods walk up the bridge yesterday on 18?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did you see him crying?
Yeah, because he knew that was the last time his ass was going to be walking across that bridge. That's why he was crying.
Because there's something special about that experience, okay? That's where he was going. All right,
he might not even be alive in 2030.
Listen, we can spend a whole show on this.
We sure can.
But we can't. So that's it for Quick Hitters. It's time to get to the hurry up, my friend.
Oh, man, let's hurry it up.
All right, Steve, a couple weeks ago, it was the NBA's turn in free agency. The NHL took the show this week, and let's just start here because we got to scroll. The number of signings were unparalleled. Let's just start with the Detroit Red Wings, though, since we are looking at the bottom line there. They made some moves. I think they're going to be competitive.
They are.
A lot of Red Wings fans that I know still think they have questions in net as far as their goaltending is concerned. I don't think that's the case. I think with Ville Husso and Nedeljkovic, they're going to be competitive. They're going to have a chance to sneak into maybe the bottom seed at the playoffs. It just depends on what everybody else in their division does. So
exactly.
let's start there with
the Western Division is stacked. We know that. But man, the David Perron signing was a big signing because Perron was a huge part of the St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup run, and even the run last year. I mean, Perron he's just solid in what he does. He does everything absolutely right, but you can't pay everybody if you're St. Louis. I get it, and Rob Thomas got the big money, so you got to keep your young stars in house. I get that, kind of piggybacking off of what Colorado did.
They traded for Nick Leddy. They had to sign him to solidify their blue line because he made a big difference in the playoffs. So he gets a 4-year, $16 million. You'll see that in the bottom here as well. But I want to highlight what I felt were the biggest names that signed throughout this week. Okay, Let's start here because this was the biggest one that dropped, and it was Johnny Gaudreau leaving Calgary and coming to the CBJ.
Boy, you sent that to me soon as you got word of it. Like, with exclamation points. Gaudreau goes, man, to Columbus.
Listen, everybody knows I'm a diehard Sabres fan, but I live in the state of Ohio. I've been to
You're a bandwagon Columbus fan.
That's fine. I'm allowed to be. You know why?
You are.
Because their minor league team won a cup in my town, and that's why I get to do that. So, and I was there that night. But anyways. All right, so Gaudreau.
I know you called it.
Gaudreau comes to Columbus, which nobody saw, by the way. Everybody kept saying Philly because he's from there. Everybody kept saying New Jersey because it's close to Philly. No, I don't think they were willing to pony up this contract. And now you have Gaudreau, Laine, and some other young talent. Columbus could be right back in the thick of it this year. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, another big one that dropped this week was Darcy Kemper getting the big contract with Washington. I'm going backwards here. That's my fault. There we go. Okay, Darcy Kemper leaves the Avalanche after winning a Stanley Cup, and he goes to Washington. And, Steve, I think this is a great move for the Capitals. They had two young goalies in Vitek Vanacek and Ilya Samsonov, and they didn't like either one of them. So they went elsewhere, and they got the guy that needed to be gotten for the Capitals. I think this is a great fit. I think he's going to do very well in Washington, and all of a sudden they're one of the favorites in the East just like that.
I mean, you can't knock Kemper for getting the money, man. But with that $26 million that he got, he need to go get his eyes checked and see if he can locate pucks.
Well,
because he had an injury with that.
He had an injury to one of his eyes, Steve. He was looking at literally in a doctor's office 2 to 3 times a day in the optometrist's office, and he still found a way to win a Stanley Cup. You got to give him a lot of credit for that. So, all right, Claude Giroux takes the money, and he goes back to home to Canada. He'll go to Ottawa on a 3-year, $19.25 million deal. A lot of people in Florida, Steve, are shocked by this. They traded for him to help win a Stanley Cup. They got swept by Tampa Bay. He felt like that wasn't going to, change. So he leaves, and he goes to Ottawa.
Out like a scout on a new route. Go get the money.
Speaking of getting the money, this guy deserves the money. He's had a hell of a last 2 seasons, and he deserves it. Jack Campbell leaves the Leafs and goes up north to Edmonton. Steve, the Edmonton Oilers have a goalie now. Look out for them next season because he's got a 5-year, $25 million deal. And they kept Evander Kane on a 4-year, $20 million deal. So all the pieces are still in place in Edmonton. Connor McDavid finally gets the goalie that has been missing. Watch out for the Edmonton Oilers in 22-23.
Well, you know what? Right. You know what just happened there, don't you?
What's that? I was waiting for at least one of those today. At least one of those. You had me and Patty laughing in the hotel so hard last week when you threw that up there. Oh, my goodness. All right. Andre Palat says, I've done in Tampa. I've won 2 cups. That's enough for me. This is a big move, Steve, for him and for Tampa losing him as well. He goes to New Jersey on a 5-year, $30 million deal. Steve, he was one of their leading scorers in the playoffs over the last 4 seasons. He's one of the main reasons they won 2 Stanley Cups and almost won a third. This is a big move in both ways.
Yeah, he's a main key to that cog, man. They're gonna have to find a way to replace him, man. But you know what? They ran that thing back, man, 3 years in a row, man. They had to do something different, man. They just and they were well equipped to get another one. It's just the defense, man, and the speed of Colorado was just overwhelming, man. And they just got to find a way, man,
And
to
that's
be able
one
to
of the
combat
reasons that a couple weeks ago they traded Ryan McDonough over to Nashville, because they wanted to make room to bring in some more speed up front. And we would be remiss if we didn't mention this one, because this was a shocker to me. I really thought he was leaving, but Malkin stays in Pittsburgh, Steve. 4 years, $24 million. And because he signed that deal, that also allows Chris Letang to stay there at 6 years, $36.6 million. The Penguins, they keep their own, and they do a really good job of it, but I don't think it's enough. I thought they should have let Malkin walk and retooled a little bit of their front six, but they seem to think otherwise. They give him the contract. Letang was a big piece. That was a bigger signing than Malkin, because defensemen like Chris Letang are
but see, you cannot measure what guys like Evgeny Malkin does in your locker room. You don't know the impact that he has, man. He's a cornerstone. You can't let cornerstones walk, man.
Yep. Well, speaking of cornerstone, we had him in this graphic earlier. Let's take a look at this again. The guy on the right, Nazem Kadri, has not gotten a contract yet. Now, there are rumors that the Rangers and the Islanders are okay with paying him what he's asking for, but I don't know, Steve. I'm a little shocked that nobody's stepped up to the table yet. He was a big reason that Colorado beat Tampa Bay, because he came back in Game 4, scored that overtime winner, and then I think just his presence on the bench and what he brought to that top line with McKinnon and also with Rantanen made a difference. But right now, he's sitting at home just waiting for somebody to offer him the right deal.
Yeah, man. And that's kind of how it is, man, in free agency. And we saw that in hoops, man, where some of the guys just wait until they get the right fit, man. And to me, sometimes, especially when you get older in your career, you're looking to be able to have more success. So then the waiting process, you wait for the right fit. And I understand that, man. I totally get it.
And there were a lot more signings that were, minor, but we only have room for so many. So we put the big ones on there. Another one that jumped out to me, though, and I think I put it on the bottom line, Andrei Burakovsky leaves the Avalanche, and he takes a chance on the expansion Kraken, and he goes there for a 5-year deal. So he seems to think that they're building things the right direction. And
they're heading in the right. They are definitely headed up. Man, I tell you, man, we can go on and on, but we've got to keep it moving.
Yes, we do. So let's go back now and you talked about the NBA free agency.
Well, yeah.
You presented a scenario.
Well, the Major League Baseball takes center stage on Monday night, man. As we get to home run derby, we're at the halfway point, man. So teams are starting to be what they are, man. And then the home run derby is on Monday, and that's it. I'm gonna ask you who you got. Who you like?
Well, I'm a sentimental guy, right? You've known me for 20 years, and I've always been that way. I know you would hate this because he's a Cardinal, but I would absolutely love for Albert Pujols to go out on top and win this whole thing.
Right. Well, and then when we look at this, and let's go back and look at that, we've got the matchups. You got a Pujols going against the number 1 seed, who is Schwarber. Schwarber is the top seed coming into this thing. My question to you, man, does Albert even stand a chance at even competing in this thing, or is it just sentimental?
I think it's sentimental, but I will say this: he can still hang them, Steve. I mean, he's still hitting home runs this year, even though he's not playing every day. So you listen, he's one of the 10 best players to ever play the game. Okay, you can't ever count a guy like that out under any circumstance. So I think it'll be the talk of the weekend. Well, not the weekend because they play the All-Star game during the week, but you know what I'm saying, during the break.
Monday night.
If I'm Kyle Schwarber, I think I'm a little bit more nervous than normal because I'm the guy that can send him home. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the 1 versus the 8. What do we got? The 2 versus 7 next.
The
right?
2 versus 7, and that's the one, the matchup that we're going to be that we're really going to hone in on, because Alonso, he's won the last 2 home run derbies. He won it in 2019 and 21. There wasn't one in 2020 because of the pandemic. This dude has the most home runs since 2019. I mean, that is my favorite right there. even though he's a left-handed hitter in that park, and Andy, we were talking before the
He's
telecast.
not a left-handed hitter. He's a right-handed hitter. Alonso is a right-handed hitter.
So he may have an advantage.
Yeah, because it's a shorter distance down that left field line. You're right. So, but the one thing to keep in mind here, this is at Dodger Stadium. This is a big, deep ballpark. I don't think you're going to see very many 500-foot shots like we have in some of these other home run contests.
Well, Alonso, he has 23 home runs in 88 games. Alonso won Derby in 19 in Cleveland, and then won it again last year at 21 in Coors Field in Denver. Alonso will be trying to join Ken Griffey Jr. as the only player to win the home run derby 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely got the ability, Steve, and he's probably the favorite. You're absolutely right about that. But my gut tells me he's not going to be able to do it.
And you know what? The matchup, Acuna, he's just coming back. He's only hitting 275 on the season. But keep in mind, he's only played in 56 games that he missed the onset of the season because of the ACL tear that he suffered last year.
Right.
But this is a rematch in 2019. Acuna hit 25 homers in the first round. He eliminated Josh Bell then. He was the number 3 seed, but Alonso beat by 1 home run in the semifinals 2019. So, man, this is going to be really interesting to see how this one plays out.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the 3-6 next. We got, is that Corey Seager or Kyle?
That's Corey Seager.
Okay, Corey Seager, who I believe, has he won a home run derby?
He has not.
Okay, I thought for some reason he had.
He took part in the home run derby in San Diego. He hit 15 homers in the first round, but he was eliminated by Mark Trumbo, the number 1 seed. This is more of a fun entry, as Seager spent the first 7 years of his career in Dodger Stadium.
The Dodgers,
he'll be in front of the former hometown people. Seager has 21 home runs in 84 games this season, meaning he's a strong bet to blow by his previous high at 26. But man, he's going to be going against Rodriguez. He's the 14th rookie to compete in the home run derby. He'll try to join. Be the third to win, to join the likes of Aaron Judge and Alonso, who was a rookie and won it in 2019.
Yeah, and the thing is, Steve, he hit a grand slam last night to help Seattle win their 12th in a row. So he's swinging the bat really well right now. So it's a good time for him to join the home run derby for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, and then the last matchup, listen, I mean, this is just going to be fun to watch. Jose Ramirez against Juan Soto. I think Soto wins this matchup, but I do know this, and I heard this the other day during a Guardians game, and that was the fact that Ramirez wanted to participate in the home run derby because of how much he idolizes Albert Pujols.
And that's it.
And that's the only reason he's doing this, because I'm telling you right now, Terry Francona would not be okay with this if there was any other reason. He doesn't like his players to join the home run derby, okay? It messes up their swing. It has effects in the second half of the season that can be detrimental to the team. But this is the kind of guy Tito is, right? He loves Jose. He respects Jose. Jose just did Cleveland a favor staying here for less money, right?
He sure did. Hometown discount. Hometown discount.
Participate. Yep.
I mean, the kid is only 5'9", but he has immense power, man. I mean,
he's got 16 home runs. He leads
17 homers so far this year,
and I think he leads Major League Baseball in RBIs, if I'm not mistaken. So
68. He has 68.
He's
RBIs.
having a great season, an MVP type season, if they could avoid the lulls that keep bringing them back in the standings. I think, but if Cleveland makes the playoffs, Ramirez wins the MVP. I guarantee you that'll happen. But I don't think that happens either way. So
all right. I tell you something else that I don't think is going to happen, man, as we move on to our NBA portion. I don't think this is going to happen, man. Everybody seems to be, man, like gung-ho on Donovan to the Knicks. I mean, what do you think, man? Do they go all in? I know Rose has missed out on his guys before, but, damn.
Well, Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett, I don't think that's enough, Steve. The East is deeper than the West now, it seems like. And I just don't think it's worth the risk. Now, if you can bring a third or a fourth team in and help, facilitate that trade, then maybe you make that trade. But here's the other thing you have to keep in mind. Everybody's acting like Donovan Mitchell's a free agent. Whoops. Sorry. That's my bad. But he's not.
No.
Utah has a say in if Mitchell gets to go to New York or anywhere else.
They're listening to offers, man.
They have to feel like this is a franchise player. Okay, he is. He has become a franchise player. They better get enough
though.
of that.
But for who? I mean, okay, you're out in Utah. You get 50 wins a season. You lose in the first round all the time. Is that really a franchise guy? I'm just asking.
He's getting you there every year. There's a lot of teams that would take that guy. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, you already broke up the other part, man. You broke up Rudy Gobert.
Gobert, yeah.
Gobert.
Listen, my wife is French. You better pronounce that correct.
Hey, man, but when you start playing like the Frenchman that you are, then you'll get the name Gobert. But until then, your name is Gobert.
Okay, but Defensive Player of the Year twice doesn't warrant Gobert?
Stop.
Anyways.
Stop.
All right, so this is the graphic I threw up by accident earlier. I'm off my game today. I must have been. It must be because I had a week off.
Good,
I apologize.
You jumped the gun. That's all right.
All right, listen. I got a lot to do on the back end. People just don't understand that. So, all right. So the Indiana Pacers say, "Hey, DeAndre Ayton, come play with us," and Phoenix says, "No, not so fast. We're going to match that."
I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either. I thought they were going to let him walk.
Well, see, what happens is they want to get something. They're not going to just let him walk for anything. He's a number one pick overall, so you don't let your number one pick just walk. So I understand that. But see, now they're tied to him for at least a year. He has a no trade clause in there that doesn't kick in for at least a year. So we know he's going to be there at least a year. So in reality, what Phoenix is doing is just running that thing back.
And I think that part of the reason that they matched that offer is you could still see Ayton packaged in a possibility to send him for Kevin Durant.
Move him right now for the next year. It's in his contract. They can't move him.
All right. Well, you would know better than I would, so I'll give you that one. But all right. You got one more possibility here.
No. I'm just going to be the guy that makes the most sense because everybody's crying. LeBron's crying that he want to play with Kyrie, and then you got Kevin Durant, the thin man, who's crying he wants out of Brooklyn. But the contracts don't line up. You're going to have to give up a boatload of talent either way. So here's my easy fix. They have exact same contracts. Trade these clowns for each other, and there you go. I'm just going to be Negro Damas today. That's who I'm going to be. I'm going to help everybody out. This is what it does. It works, people. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it works.
It makes a lot of sense. And honestly, I think that if you put Ben Simmons with LeBron and Kyrie, Ben Simmons becomes Ben Simmons again.
But see, Ben Simmons is LeBron's little brother, so man, he gonna hoop, man. I'm just saying, man. That's guy makes everybody better.
I just said he becomes Ben Simmons again.
Right. He's gonna hoop. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, hey man. So before we get out of here, man, the last part of this thing, man, this was the most asinine thing that I saw last week, and I need to get your thoughts on this, man, because according to NFL execs, NFL coaches, and NFL players, they released a ranking of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, and there has been omissions that are inevitably seen. I mean, that jump off the screen. Let's just take a look at it. You look at they voted Aaron Rodgers number 1 overall. Okay, first off, there is a problem. Okay, then you got my homeboy Patrick Mahomes number 2, Josh Allen number 3. And everybody's looking at the evolution of Josh Allen. But Andy, here's the one thing nobody's talking about. Josh Allen's offensive coordinator is not there anymore. Brian Daboll has been there with him from day one. Now you got Ken Dorsey. Is that going to be the same marriage? I'm just asking questions.
Those are good questions, and those are valid questions, and we'll get into them a lot more as we start breaking down each team when training camps open up here in the next couple weeks. I'm sorry. I know he's 44 years old, Steve, but until he stops playing football, Tom Brady has to be number 1 on this list. Would you not agree with that?
Man, it's hard for me to put a cat in front of my homeboy. Man, I gotta go with my homeboy.
All right, that's fine.
And then, hey man, and look, you can take Brady and Rodgers and flip them however you want to, okay? And then we'll start to talk about the Josh Allens. How in the hell Joe Burrow is ahead of Matthew Stafford is beside me. I don't get it. And how the hell Dak Prescott even made the damn list and Lamar Jackson ain't on it? There's the one. There's your omission. Yeah. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, I agree with that. And listen, I know he hasn't played in 2 years.
And there's my other one, man. Like, dude, you can't be in the top 10 because we ain't seen you play. And we don't know if we're going to see your ass play this year.
Yeah, I don't know what they base this off of, Steve. But, when we – first of all, we're talking about ESPN. So most people on that network don't know what they're talking about.
No. This here was just released on ESPN. This is according to league execs.
Oh, coaches, that's league execs. Wow.
And players. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well, I think that a lot of executives base these type of lists on numbers, right? Not necessarily results as far as wins or playoff wins, but numbers. And that is the only reason I could see that Dak Prescott would be on this list. Because what else has he done besides put up numbers? Nothing. Deshaun Watson took the Houston Texans to the playoffs a couple of times.
Dak Prescott.
Okay, fine.
Dak Prescott on the list.
What, is he on the list because the Browns just gave him the largest contract ever? Is that why he's on this list? I don't know. But I'm with you. I think this list is a joke.
Without Lamar Jackson, I'm sorry, bro. I got an MVP. All of these cats on there. It ain't many cats on there. That look. Russell Wilson ain't got one. Deshaun Watson ain't got one. As much as I love Matthew Stafford, he ain't got one. MVP.
Yeah, I know. No,
I know. You know what it makes me want to say, don't you?
No one has ever done that. No one has ever done that in the history of Dota.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Yeah. Are you serious?
Listen, I think you and I need to put our quarterback list together.
And we are. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what we're going to do in the next week. I just didn't tell you that, and I'm jumping the process a bit. But in the next weeks, we're going to break down every division quarterbacks. We're going to go from 1 to 32. We're going to give within each division, and then we're going to give them an overall. So we're going to give you overall quarterback ratings coming all the way up. Every week, we'll give you another one all the way up until the kickoff of the NFL season. Because training camp's open next week, we got to give it to you.
Oh, yeah, and that's going to be a lot of fun. But before we go, I got to ask you this, okay? I told you how special the British Open is to me, and the fact that it's at St. Andrews. There it is one more time. Who you got by the end of this weekend?
Well, I don't know if the young buck can hold on, man. He had a great round yesterday, and I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on, man. You had a trendy pick, man, when you picked Rory, like the first day. You was like, Steve, and I'm going to tend to agree with you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to tend to agree with you.
I think it's the best thing that can happen for golf if Rory McIlroy wins the Open at St. Andrews, okay? The worst thing that could happen for golf is if Dustin Johnson wins the Open because he represents LIV. Do you have any idea how much hair would be pulled out of the heads of the RNA if this happens? That's something to watch over the next 2 days.
Just for that, man, I'm cheering for Dust DJ.
Yeah, I know that. I knew as soon as I said that you would flip it.
Let's rock. Let's rock.
That's fine. But Rory will win. Okay? Hey. I told you Justin Thomas would win the PGA. I told you Djokovic would win Wimbledon. And I'm going to put myself out there, and I'm going to stick with Rory. Even though he's 3 shots back, the course is playing very favorable this morning. The winds aren't as high as they're expecting. If it does rain tomorrow, he knows how to play in those conditions. He's going to do it.
Yeah. Come on, DJ. All right. Man, that's another one in the books, man. 42 of these names, man, rocking and rolling, man. It's been fun, but we got to run, man.
Yep.
So, Andy, until next week.
We wish you love.
And peace. Deuces.